Medium. The practice of communicating with the spirit world and those who reside there, and allowing communication with our plane of existence. Belief in mediumship, and to be fair, psychic abilities as a whole, is very widespread, so of course it would definitely make its way into the medium of video games. Pun completely intended, of course. Welcome back everyone to a brand new review, and today we are taking a dip into The Medium. The Medium is a psychological horror game developed by Bloober Team, the people behind Layers of Fear, Observer, and Blair Witch, and is on PC and Xbox Series S/X. It was released in January 2021. The Medium garnered average to generally favourable reviews, and so today I thought I would take a look and see what I personally thought. Now, going forward there will be minor spoilers, so this is your warning. Without further ado, let's review The Medium. The Medium is set in Krakow, Poland, in the late 90s. You play as Marian, a medium who helps souls move on to the afterlife, and who has a recurring dream. You begin by helping your father figure move on after his death, and then suddenly a phone call comes in. It's a man named Thomas who says there are answers for you about who you are and about your powers if you come to the Neva Workers Resort. Neva is an abandoned communist vacation resort in the wilderness. It has been shut down by the government after a massacre happened years earlier where a lot of people were murdered. You head to Neva, find your way in and meet a spirit known as Sadness. From here you make your way through the abandoned resort, finding answers to your questions and the dream, as well as avoiding the ever-looming threat of the Maw, the big bad of this game. That's all I'm going to tell you about the story for now, and personally, I quite like it to be honest. I thought it was interesting. The few characters you meet have great personalities and really set the tone of this game. I won't tell you exactly what happens, but I will say though that the end of this game is a hair-pulling experience, and one that has divided people on whether it sits as a good ending or a bad one. So the gameplay to this game is that of a third-person psychological horror game. In the same vein as your Silent Hill, you must make your way through the environment and solve the puzzles. Let's take this one step at a time for the rest of this section. Let's start with the big selling point of this game, the main thing. As you go through the game, you are either in the real world or in the spirit world, but at times you split and play in both worlds at the same time. Doing this allows you to solve puzzles in a certain world, allowing you to progress in the other. Yes, they could have done it so you just travel back and forth all the time, but to be fair, that's not as interesting. So next, let's look at the puzzles. Unfortunately, there isn't much to them. If I remember rightly, there are about 4 types. The first is to find an item to continue. This, unfortunately, is the most frequent. Secondly, you have one where you move an item, such as a clock, which changes time in the spirit world and allows for further progression. This happens about twice. There was also a puzzle with a globe where you had to make a face, and then one with some water where you had to drain water in certain amounts. Both of these you did like once. Now, my biggest problem here is that the majority of the puzzles in this game was a cut and paste of, hey, go do this, oh wait, it's missing a piece, so let's go find that bit first. That, unfortunately, is a little bit disappointing. The game pays serious homage to the psychological games of old, and I really would have liked more in-depth puzzles as the game itself progressed. There are a few things you must do throughout the game, one of which is when in the spirit world, get power from the spirit world so that you can create yourself a shield to get through these lovely group of moths? I'm pretty sure they're moths. Power certain electrical boxes to progress, and the other is to avoid the Maw. The Maw is the big bad of this game and hunts you down, so naturally, you must not get caught. There are some decent bits with this guy, some stealth type sections where you need to hold your breath, and also running sections where you gotta run for your goddamn life. I feel like these were handled well and definitely changed things up. Overall, I enjoyed the gameplay. It was decent, and I really liked the moments where you split between the two worlds. I just felt it was let down by the cut and paste puzzles that didn't really get much more difficult as the game went on. The music in this game is phenomenal. It was done by Akira Yamaoka and Arkadiusz Rakowski. Apologies if I butchered either of those names. Now, Mr. Yamaoka composed music for the Silent Hill franchise. And damn, it shows. The music is absolutely fantastic. It's haunting and really helps the atmosphere of this game become so intense at times. This is the same with the sound effects. The sounds given to everything are brilliantly done and just work in this world. Nothing seems out of place and it all helps build that atmosphere even further. The voice acting is a double-edged sword for me. It's brilliantly done. You have Kelly Burke doing the voice of Marianne and she does a brilliant job. You have Angeli Wall as Sadness, who brings his character to life. Then you have Troy Baker as the Moor, who is the freakiest voice in this game. The Moor is horrific and says some real fucked up shit, but it just once again adds to this world and its intense and scary atmosphere. The problem with all of this though, is everyone has an American accent. Now I have no issue with American accents, except this is set in Poland, and everyone I believe is meant to be Polish. There is not a single Polish accent in this game. Now considering this is a game set in Poland, and also made by Bloober Team, who I believe are a Polish game developer, I think it's a real shame that not a single person is Polish. It just feels like a bit of a letdown. The graphics I thought looked really good. There were some teething problems I would say here and there with points of stuttering when playing as well as texture pop-ins. But I did play this on day one, so hopefully these get fixed going forward. There was also this strange glitch at one point where I died and the screen wouldn't load, but the game had loaded. I could hear everything going on, but there was just no picture. But once I paused and reloaded the previous save, it all worked again, so it wasn't a huge deal. The characters and environments look great, especially the Moor, and everything just works together to make the greatest atmosphere for this game. The split screen I think worked really well, and although I found myself looking at the wrong screen at times, which made me miss a lot of things, it still worked, and let's be fair, that's on me. The lighting effects were fantastic, especially when using the spirit wells and getting the power from them to help your way through puzzles. Also, the fixed camera angles were perfect and really brought that nostalgic feeling of old school horror to my mind. I really enjoyed this game. I really did. I thought the story was great, the graphics were very nice, and the split screen was a great idea. And although I have my issues with them, the voice acting was still really well done. The atmosphere in this game was really creepy, and it just works so well. Now here's actually where my biggest issue comes in. Unfortunately, this game is currently priced at £35 to £40, which is about $50 to $55 for those across the pond. I finished this game in 6.5 hours. Now I realise that a lot has gone into this game, and I imagine it has cost an awful lot to make, but unfortunately to the player, it's not worth that much money. Now at the moment, it is on Xbox Games Pass, so if you have that, then excellent. But for those who don't, it's a massive shame, especially since, from what I'm aware and what I can tell, there's no replay value to this game. Once you beat it, that's it. There's nothing to go back to and no alternate endings to find. So, there we have it. A good game that I thoroughly enjoyed. Just not worth the price tag given, and could have done with a few changes to make it a fantastic game. But hey, did you play the medium? What did you think? I would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. If you have a game you want me to review, then hit me up in the comments, or you can find me on Twitter using a link down below. I also stream on Twitch 3 times a week, which you can also find in the description. If you haven't already, then please hit that subscribe button and drop a like, and I shall catch you next time. Take it easy, everybody.